SZA. You guys familiar with SZA?
Yes.
The R&B singer.
So SZA was on a podcast and they asked her to explain her name. Do you know what her name is? Her name means? All right.
Give me your entire name and tell me where SZA came from.
Solana Imani Rowe is my entire name. SZA is like an acronym derived from the divine alphabet. If you're like familiar with Wu-Tang or anything like that, or 5%er, it's like a older ideology where each letter stands for different ideologies. So S stands for self-sovereignty, like sovereignty of oneself and savior of oneself. And then Z stands for zigzag, which is like enlightenment of oneself. And then A stands for Allah or God, whatever you consider the most high. And so
yeah, so this came from a creator. I don't remember her name, but she was basically warning like, hey, you need to know who you guys are listening to and what they're about.
Yeah,
because a lot of people let their kids listen to stuff and they don't know what the motivation of the artist is. But to know that she names herself after this 5% doctrine is concerning. What do you guys, are you guys familiar with 5%?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, the majority of Wu-Tang, that's what they spit.
That's what she mentioned Wu-Tang.
So yeah, when I remember first seeing her name, I was like, is she related to RZA? Like, is that a play off of his name or whatever? But that's not no shocking to me. I think at the end of the day, still go back to the original sin of getting that fruit and knowing that you're God and thinking you're God. So that's what they believe, 5%ers. Like, you know, what's today's mathematics?
Seems like everybody kind of believes that.
Yeah, that's
almost every single thing we've talked about on here comes back to whether it's Mormonism, which we'll hit up in a future show, whatever it is. It's always your God some kind of way. Yeah. It always goes back to that. It's the same. It's either God is God or you're God. It seems like that's the battle everybody has in all these.
Yeah. Did she say something about being a witch one time?
I thought she said she was a Muslim.
I heard her say, I think she said something about being a witch.
Yes, I already knew she wasn't a believer, so I was like, okay.
Yeah, she said,
somebody in the VC in the comments says she's been Muslim.
Yeah, but then that's not okay. So I think there's a lot of people who float between Nation, 5%, and Islam.
Yeah,
they kind of float between those.
Yeah.
All over.
And black
people float between those.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because I mean, Islam doesn't say what she's saying.
Yeah. Well, it depends on what sect of Islam. These different sects. Like the Nation of Islam is black, Louis Farrakhan, and different things of that nature. And then of course, 5% Nation comes from the streets of New York City and black and stuff like that. So that those sects are way a little different than the religion of Islam, because like even Malcolm X, if you ever saw that movie, he talked about like, I went to Mecca and I seen white Muslims, I seen all types of Muslims. So those sects are what we talked about, black theology. Well, that's one part, but just like self-improvement. You the black man is God, or identity of who you are, stuff like that. So, and she probably just doing that, but I mean, it goes back to righteousness and ratchetness, because her music is straight ratchet. It's like, I'm gonna do this to this dude's car, or I'm gonna do this to him, or whatever. So yeah,
just understand that there's other people evangelizing to your kids. All right. So I think the point of this is just being aware that the people you let your kids listen to, even what you listen to, they have motives, right? There's something that they believe that they're trying to get you to believe. And just like Christians do, you kind of embed it in your songs, right? So is it important for us to know that? Could you tell before from her music that this is what she believed?
Me personally, I could see how now, as I listen, think of a few songs from her, I could see why that ideology could be in her life.
I think her newest album is what started it off. Like, you could really tell, like, she want to kill her ex and all of and I forgot what the other, it's like repeating these like negative things. But I was a fan of her when she had mixtapes and stuff, and I feel like now it's getting a little bit more weird and worldly, but I was in the world back when I was listening to her, so maybe it was worldly back then too. But I feel like this most recent album was kind of, I was just like, I can't listen to that no more, because I'm repeating this stuff in my head.
She seems to promote toxic relationships From what I've heard, the music I heard, she made some good music.
She's very talented.
It sounds good. I ain't gonna lie. It sounds good. We had her on line for line.
Yeah,
It sounded good.
She sounds good.
But everything I hear is just toxic as a mug. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think toxic relationships has been normalized to the point where people actually desire that. You online, people desire like toxic things. It's not real love unless it's toxic.
Yeah.
And I think she kind of perpetuates that message a little bit.